Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Premier League predictions for the last time until the World Cup. So let's end on a big one. Let's go for 300 likes. Make sure to smash that like button. Please do make sure to subscribe. We'll have loads of content coming out even over the World Cup. Then the Premier League will be back in December. I'm joined by Sophie. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. This video is being brought to you by One Football. If you haven't already downloaded the link down in the description, what are you doing? Like I say, guys, you do me a favour and you do them a favour, and it'll do you a favour if you download that link down below, because it's got all the football content and news and stats and all the kind of stuff you guys would love over there, particularly Premier League and Championship, which you guys are massively fond of. You can get a Serie A game streamed every Saturday night, like I say. So check out One Football before it's too late. The link is down in the description. Let's get into these Premier League predictions, Sophie, starting at the Etihad. Manchester City take on Brentford. Brentford, I'm not too sure. They just lost to Gillingham in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah. On penalties, but still.
Yeah, Manchester City, meanwhile, looking back at last weekend in the Premier League, they made it hard work against Fulham. Obviously, they got a red card, but they did snatch it, and that is why...
Controversial pen.
Yeah,
first time I've seen it, I thought pen. Watching a couple of the replays, it's not a pen for me.
I agree, I do agree, but I think that is the sign of a team that's obviously always going to be up there. Most of the time they'll dazzle 4-5-0,
Yeah.
But on that occasion they had to do it the hard way, and I think this one will be a bit easier. I think Brentford have been good so far this season, but sometimes a little bit questionable and a little bit inconsistent. I think Manchester City are just too strong. 3-0.
Okay, I'm going to say 2-0 Man City, which almost seems like a little bit harsh, because a few weeks ago I'd be saying 4-5-0 against whoever, to be honest. But I'll give Brentford a bit of credit and say that they're going to make it really hard for City to break down. But yeah, Man City, they've got the quality to do it. So for me, 2-0. 2-0.
Okay, next up, the Vitality. Bournemouth versus Everton. Again, they just played yesterday, and now they're playing in the Premier League. Bournemouth ripped them to shreds 4-1 in the Carabao Cup, and now in the Premier League, I think Bournemouth are going to win again. I don't think there's a lot between them in the table, and they'll both be desperate for 3 points before the World Cup. It's the last chance, and it'll push either side much further clear of the bottom three. I think Bournemouth need it. Their form's not been great. Everton, they're a little bit patchy. I'm going to edge Bournemouth, especially with them being at home. 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to say Bournemouth 2-0. I think they should look at this game after just beating them midweek and think, come on, we can do it again. So their confidence should be high. I do think, I know I'm saying 2-0, but I still see it being like quite a tight game. I think Everton might go all out against Bournemouth, but I don't think they're going to get anything for their trouble, so 2-0. 2-0.
Okay, next up we go to Anfield as Liverpool host Southampton. Now, some interesting things with this one. Southampton obviously lost 4-1 to Newcastle last week, but then sacked Hasenhüttl, and at the time of recording this, we don't know yet if Nathan Jones is going to be the gaffer. Liverpool, meanwhile, you backed them to lose to Spurs last week. They won, and they just seem to turn up for the big games.
The big games, so this
one isn't necessarily a big game, so they might lose.
Yeah.
However, I feel like they could end on a good one. 4-0.
Oh, okay, you think it's going to be a heavy one. I honestly think this could go either way, as Liverpool, as you said, they play well against the big teams, and I don't know whether they just assume they're going to win against the lower teams, or I don't know what it is. It's very, very hard to predict them this season. With Southampton being managerless, do I see them getting anything at Anfield? Maybe not. So I am going to back Liverpool to win, but I think they'll make a meal of it, so 2-1. 2-1
to Liverpool. Okay, next up we go to the City ground. Both Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace were involved in Carabao Cup action on Wednesday. Back to the Premier League though, Palace got a great win at West Ham last time out, and Forest snatched a late draw against Brentford last time out. So I think there will be goals in this one. I don't think either team's going to keep a clean sheet. I can see both teams scoring, and I have said I think Forest might climb the table a bit, and I do back them more when they're at home. Forest 2-1.
It's when you don't back them that they tend to do quite well. However, I'm going to agree with you. I think they're going to get the win here. Not agreeing with the clean sheets. I think they're actually going to keep a clean sheet. I think they're going to have to fight really, really hard for it, because Palace on their day are a good team. But I'm going to back Forest to win 1-0.
Wow, massive. That would be massive.
That would be massive, yeah.
Are you a Forest fan?
Yeah, should see what's underneath.
Next up, we'll go to Tottenham. They take on Leeds, and Leeds have been really good recently. They won 4-3 against Bournemouth. Before that, they won at Anfield. Surely they can't win at Tottenham. That would be the perfect way to round it up before the World Cup. Meanwhile, Tottenham, if they could just be a bit more consistent, I could genuinely just see them being in that mix with Man City and Arsenal, but they're not quite on that level. I do think they'll edge this game though, and I feel mean not going for Leeds because Leeds have been fantastic recently, but I'm going to edge Tottenham 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to edge Tottenham 1-0. I think it's going to be slightly tighter. I agree with what you're saying about Tottenham. If they were consistent, because they've got the team to do it, then they would be right up there. However, I can see them at some points maybe dropping away, because if other teams start keeping the results and their run going, like Newcastle, maybe if Liverpool turn it around a little bit, you just don't know, they could drop down. However, coming up against Leeds, really depends what kind of Leeds team turn up. They have looked good in the past couple of weeks, but I think Spurs is a different kettle of fish, so 1-0 Spurs for me.
1-0. Okay, next up, this could be interesting. It's West Ham versus Leicester. Two sides that got off to poor starts and do seem to be turning it around. Leicester certainly quicker than West Ham. Leicester have been really good. Good result at Everton, and the Tielemans goal.
Oh, what a goal that is. But Maddison is on fire. Get him on that plane.
Yes, by the time this video goes out, I think we should just know who's been picked for England. I think this will be an interesting game, but with West Ham being at home, I might not edge Leicester, but say a share of the spoils, an entertaining 2-2.
Oh, I was going to say the same. So I'll say 1-1, actually. I don't want to copy you there, but I think it could be a draw. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Leicester went there and got the win. So if any team's going to edge it for me, it's going to be Leicester. However, I am going to sit on the fence and I'll say 1-1.
Okay, right, next up, this is a very interesting one. It's a proper test because Newcastle host Chelsea. And Chelsea, although they've been pretty good under Graham Potter, recently not so much. They lost to Arsenal, they lost to Brighton, and Newcastle, like I say, this is a test of their credentials, and I think Newcastle will win, especially with them being at home. That crowd and the players and everything is pulling in the right direction. I think Chelsea might be able to get a goal, but Newcastle 2-1.
Now I'm going to say 3-1 Newcastle. Newcastle are looking very, very good at the moment. I don't know where I predicted them beginning of the season, but I definitely underestimated them, so I'm eating my words at the moment. Chelsea, again, I think they will be good under Graham Potter, just not right now. They're coming up against Newcastle at a bad time as well. So yeah, for me, 3-1 Newcastle. 3-1
Newcastle. Okay, now this is an interesting one. We go to Molineux as Wolves take on Arsenal. It does seem like this is going to be a fairly predictable outcome, but it's a big one because Arsenal, if they win this, obviously cement being top during the World Cup. And, you know, we've said week in, week out how important it is to stay top for each week. And, you know, to take it into the World Cup still top of the table is testament to how brilliant Arsenal have been. I think they'll win this. Wolves, I'm a bit concerned for. I think they could be bottom after this weekend. I'm going to say Wolves 1, Arsenal 3.
Oh, okay. I'm not even going to say Wolves are going to score for me. Arsenal are looking very good. I keep saying that they're going to drop off, but I actually hope this run continues for a little while, to be honest. It's quite entertaining to watch. And Wolves are not actually entertaining to watch, and it's looking a little bit worrying if you're a Wolves fan at the moment. So for me, Arsenal 2-0.
There you go. Right, this one could be interesting. Brighton host Aston Villa, and you've got to say, Aston Villa certainly had a good evening against Manchester United last weekend. They beat them 3-1. That was a fantastic result.
That was a great result. Fair play.
Yeah, meanwhile, you've got Brighton, who certainly are still doing fantastic. They won away at Wolves 3-2. Before that, they beat Chelsea 4-1. So both sides coming into this with quite a bit of confidence. Yeah. Brighton, meanwhile, their form stretches back a bit longer, and they are the home team. So I'm going to edge them to win a very entertaining 3-2.
Okay, I'm going to back Brighton to win 2-1. That's not taking anything away from Villa, because I think that was a great result for them. And that's why I think they're going to give Brighton a really good game. But I am going to edge the home team, so 2-1 Brighton. Okay,
and the last Premier League game to predict until Boxing Day, it's Fulham versus Manchester United. Now, Manchester United, I will give credit because they have been better under Ten Hag, despite a couple iffy results away at Aston Villa, away at Manchester City, and a couple of the first games of the season. I think it's a small step in the right direction compared to under Solskjaer, I'm going to say. Meanwhile, you've got Fulham at home, and they've been fantastic so far this season. Really felt sorry for them when they lost late on against Manchester City, but I still think they'll stay up. I think, you know, they've been fantastic this season, and do you know what? I think they could do better than stay up. Imagine if they were to actually finish 10th or something. Yeah. Fulham 2-1.
Oh, you're joking. I was actually going to say Fulham 2-1 as well. I think it's going to be a bit of an upset. I think they're unlucky to get nothing against Man City. United didn't look very good against Villa at all, so I think off the back of that, with Fulham being at home, they're going to get the win, 2-1.
There you go, we're ending on the same prediction there. Like I say, guys, do make sure you've hit that thumbs up button. Once again, a massive thank you for your great support. Do join us for World Cup predictions, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.